Welcome to Iconic Motorbikes. For today's shop walk, we're starting off with the Vyrus. You've seen us in the background before, but today we have it all together. My hair looks like this because I just did a test ride. Definitely a bike that doesn't feel like any other. When you hit the brakes, it squats. It almost feels like you're pressing down on a rear brake to stop because the whole bike kept squatting the whole time. Definitely not the best turning radius I've ever seen, right, Dan?
Yeah.
To say the least. But anyway, let's hear her run. She's pretty much all sorted out. The fuel pump to prime, and sounds like an Italian. Just warmed up. I just took her for a spin. But what's interesting about this bike beyond anything else is if you don't know Vyrus, Vyrus is it was part of Bimota. They split off, went their own route. Vyrus now produces on-demand bikes. So basically, you can order one. No two bikes are the same. Pretty pricey. I think the cheapest bike they offer is somewhere around $60,000, but I've heard upwards of $150,000 to $200,000 for some. What they're famous for is hub-centric steering, right? So as opposed to forks that will steer with your handlebars, these use different assemblies and these rods to kind of go back and forth and turn on the front. It's a really neat kind of system, if you will. It's definitely different. The Tessie actually stands for thesis. The bike was designed off of a thesis, and they've stuck with this design ever since. The new ones, we have a final edition, which has changed a bit. It's got a little upgraded forks, better suspension, different motor, but for the most part, still radically different. Anyway, he's gonna get back to work. We've got a little bit of a tuning issue we're gonna sort out off the test ride, so she comes back apart one more time. Angel is finishing up the ZX-400R, ZX-400R, a couple little cleanup things, right?
Yep. I think she's running.
She's running?
She's running.
Can we hear it right now?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I think maybe there's enough gas. Is already unplugged it.
Just enough gas to get it going. Sounds good? Woo!
I'm super happy there.
Smells so good. Perfect. Moving this way. Our newest wrench, Josh, is actually getting some work done. He's digging deep in an RZ500. He was supposed to only do a little cleanup detail work, but he went a little too extensive. Just kidding. The cool thing about this bike was he came to me earlier and found a piece of something.
Oh, it turns out to be a lizard.
It's a lizard?
It's got hands.
Oh, look at that. So this was on top of the motor. We thought at first it was some sort of a wire cover, but there's little legs. And so some lizard lived in there, and you're taking away his home.
You found one of my relatives?
What?
Found one of my relatives?
There you go. Anyway, so RZ, this is actually an RZV. So the difference between an RZ and an RZV is the aluminum frame. Canada, and who else got the RZV? Canada and Japan, right?
Japan, probably.
Yep. And then steel frames are the RZ standard. So there you go, moving on. Ollie's back tomorrow, so his area will be up and functional. Over here, Steve is getting the second 0 mile Benelli Tornado tray, limited edition. The difference between this and the regular Benelli Tornado tray is it's got the magnesium motor covers, it's got a dry clutch, a couple other things. It comes with 2 tanks, a carbon tank and a standard tank, a race exhaust and a stock exhaust, and some other upgrades. But what's really neat about this bike,
this side.
what's that?
You can see the tie on this side because I got the cover off.
Oh, the magnesium.
Excuse
There
me.
you go. And you know it's magnesium because it
says so.
It says so. That's right.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, really cool bike. Carbon fiber body throughout. What makes this different, I've spoken about this in other videos before, is the radiators are mounted here. So the theory on this bike is you've got these 2 fans that extract the heat through the radiators that are undermounted. I've ridden one through the Rockstar, probably 3 weeks ago. Had an amazing time. It was one of the first bikes I've ever got on, and I was automatically acclimated to. I felt just naturally quick on it. Remember that day?
I seem to remember you doing that a lot recently.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been going a little faster and faster. The beauty is it was kind of cold in the morning, and so when we got there, the fans were blowing. You could sit there, you could fix your hair.
Oh
you could
yeah,
warm your hands.
use a hairdryer. Yeah.
Anyway, that's our shop walk. And the last bit of good news, Steve doesn't know this yet. Look what just came back in.
I'll let him know, yeah.
Boom. Perfectly milled.
I do know that.
You did know that. All right. So we have an ELR head that
Let's go right back on this.
it's going back on that motor right there and going into a really special bike for a good client. She was a little bit warped, but she won't be for long.
Yep.
That's it. Thank you, Ricky.